Oh, I didn't get through. Alright, this will be round 2. I'm showing off how I play Rift with a Logitech controller. I actually have it set up to where my mouse moves in small increments with one side and in larger increments with the other side. And if I need to haul ass to one side of the screen, I just use them both. 1, 2, 3, and 4 on this. This isn't a Logitech controller. This is a cheap knockoff, but it's what I use for right now. I have select and start. Those are each buttons. Pushing down on these end up being a button as well. My left click and my right click and shift and control allows you to use all these buttons over again in different combinations. And in fact, I talk and vent with a combination like that. I jump with combinations. I select different targets with different combinations. I'll show you some of the gameplay. I can put on all my buffs very easily this way. You can strafe this way very easily as well. Jumping, strafing. You can do all of your rotation this way very easily. You can target switch rather easily also. Just tab targeting. I have about 26 button combinations for different abilities. I've gotten very used to using all of them. In fact, I end up using pretty much all the button combinations. You just memorize them all. It takes a little muscle memory. At first you're just using like these, but then the shift and control, and you get to really do everything that you'd want to do in the game besides type and chat. It's the only thing I don't do. I jump, I auto run, I bring up my map. Oh, can't get up that way. I'm just in the shore right now, running around, killing some mobs. Nothing really challenging, I can really show it off, but I have every single ability at my fingertips. Me and my wife both do it this way. You'll find it's hell to switch over if you're using a keyboard and a mouse for the first 2 weeks. There's a lot of novelty involved that'll keep you interested, but it is a lot of remapping your muscle memory so you get used to using the controller. And you also really learn to appreciate macros. This is a 6-button rotation. You could easily do an 8-button rotation. You could slightly more difficultly do a 9 and 10-button rotation, but it is possible to do a 20-button rotation on this, obviously. I would say 12 would be the max I would comfortably be able to do, because beyond that I want to have access to all my normal buttons, buffs, and all that stuff very easily. Interrupts and target switching macros for bosses and whatnot. So you want to keep some buttons free, and a bunch of like oh crap buttons that you need to be able to do as a tank and things like that. So a 12-button rotation would be the only thing, or the maximum comfortable rotation. However, I do access all of the buttons. Let's see, I have a what would be considered a select start 1, 2, 3, 4. I have a shift select start 1, 2, 3, 4. A control select start 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 6 times 3. That'd be 18. Then I hold them both down. Mostly my old crap buttons are this way. 1, 2, 3, 4. Start select. Although this is how I access my map. And I have this one unmapped at the moment because I use this combination. L2 and select to talk on vent. I also have button combinations for jump. I hold these both down and I click down on the joystick to jump. I hold down the L2 and this to do my target switching. Just that by itself is getting on my mount. At the moment, this button all by itself is kick. It's kind of fun to do, obviously, all the time. And tanks hate it. Unless you're in GA, and then everybody loves you for saving their lives. But oh, and the other thing is the software that I use is JoytoKey. and this is how I programmed every single button on here. And if anybody wants, I can just give them my config for Joytokey, which is a nice starting point. But a lot of these buttons are programmable to be rapid fire. So I have automated shooting on many of the buttons so that I don't have to go through the finger fatigue of clicking a mouse button over and over and over and over and over and over again. And it really helps you ergonomically over just a basic keyboard and mouse, because obviously these are designed to be ergonomic. They're designed to be played on for 10 hours at a time during sleepovers with all your teenage buddies. So it's actually very comfortable. I can sit back on a couch and have my hands just together like this, relax, recline in a chair if I wanted to, and it'd be very easy for me to play. Not so much communicate because of the keyboard issue, but if everybody was in Vent or Mumble or whatever service you use for voice chat, it would be very easy. And you wouldn't have to have a bunch of trays around you either, because you're just using this. This is all I use when I'm in combat, and I've raided with it. I've done everything with it. Target, switching between target to target is very easily done. Your fingers get used to the resolution of the mouse movements. See, this is me. When I'm tanking, I do this all the time. I select different targets and do different abilities to gather everything up. I can go from point to point, flower to flower, and it's really nice to be able to have them both, because the high resolution gets from place to place very quickly, but the low resolution lets you do little pinpoints. I can pinpoint the different parts of the flower there and hit all my buttons very easily that way. I keep my buffs. I click on buttons with this quite frequently, in fact. Just like my buffs, I'll click on them very frequently. But anyway, that is the basics on how you use one of these controllers to play MMOs. It's very useful. Once you get used to it, you'll love it, but you'll hate it for at least a month.